Logitech pulled us down to Portland just before PAX Prime to check out a new product launch they've been whispering about for a really long time. So we went to their audio testing and development facility in Camas, I hope I'm saying that correctly, to check it out. That audio project was called the Artemis Spectrum, both the G633 and the G933. So I'll get into the exact specs and the differences between these two headsets in a moment, but first off, let's start with the cool stuff, the R&D. So the first area we'll check out is mechanical engineering. This is where a lot of the hard, carving out of the actual physical project happened. Literally carving out. They did foam models here, they did CNC and 3D printing and foam work and tons of different stuff. This is where they conceptualized the general look, the general fit, and the general feel of the headset. They did things like testing the thermal performance, the noise isolation performance, and the comfort of different foams that will go on the inside of the top band on the headset, or even just the ear cups. They did things like switching from a circular styled switching to a square styled switching, because apparently it's ever so slightly better for acoustic performance. Their 3D printers here were sick. They're floor-based 3D printers, not like desktop-based 3D printers like mine back at the office. And the quality of these things was just absolutely insane. We saw a few models that they made both in headphone style and in just other random fun projects that the engineers were trying to make, and it was pretty damn cool. Next up, there was two electrical engineering rooms. The first one was focused on the development, research, and testing of their new Logitech Pro G 40mm patent pending driver that's going into both of these headsets. The first station that they had was a Klippel machine that would shoot a laser at the driver, and then they'd play noises through it and see if it distorted in any improper ways. And they had some material development where they changed the material of the diaphragm and stuff to optimize for those inaccuracies that may or may not have been there. Around the corner, there was a super badass anechoic chamber, which was huge on its own foundation and then on 200 springs, so that even if a slightly heavy truck drove by, it wouldn't even feel it, which is pretty freaking cool. In that chamber, they had a chest-up dummy, which would then wear the headphones. This dummy had mechanical ears, meaning that it had microphones in each of its fake, freakishly realistic ears, so that they could test leakage of noise out of the headphones and leakage of noise into the headphones, and then optimize for that in other departments. The next electrical engineering room was focused around power delivery and antenna design. Now, antenna design for the wireless headset, which is the G933, but I'll get more into that later on, and power delivery for both of them. The antenna design was interesting. They do things like put a microwave with a certain amount of water in it and then turn it on so they could test how much that would interfere with the headset, because that's an important thing. This headset is transmitting over 2.4 gigahertz. The reason why it's doing that is because jumping up to 5 would actually shorten the range, and that's not a good thing. It would also take more power, and when you're dealing with a wireless headset, long-lasting power is important. So they stuck with 2.4, and even though it's a noisy band, they've done some improvements like antenna design, and they've upgraded the chip for that, which is cool. They've upgraded the rating for how far the distance on these things can go to 15 meters over previous models, but to be honest, I was using it at like 24 and it was still stable, so they've done a pretty good job. They also tested just to make sure that no matter how you were facing or how you were positioned, the signal would still be strong, and they did this by using a big box and then a mechanical arm inside the box connected to a head that was wearing the headphones, so that it could rotate it around and then make sure that the signal was solid no matter how that little mechanical head was positioned. The last R&D based room, and arguably the coolest one, was compliance. The idea here is testing interference. So they're testing interference of radiation, radio waves, EMI, shock, power from the mains of your house, all of this kind of stuff. The headset both has to not output too much of this stuff in order to not interfere with other things, and it has to be able to withstand a certain amount of interference with other things without screwing up. So it has to be able to take a certain amount of radiation, and it has to not put out too much radiation. And for instance, if it gets an electrical shock, it should keep working, because that's very commonly going to happen. If someone's walking around on carpet and then picks up their headphones, you might shoot a static shock at it, and it should be able to last. There's regulations all around the world for this, like FCC. You guys are probably familiar with that. And yeah, very cool room. Now for the juice of the video, the headphone specs. The Artemis Spectrum project currently is comprised of two headsets, the G633 and the G933. Both of them feature that new Pro G 40mm driver that I mentioned earlier. Both of them have 16.8 million RGB color custom lighting, which is pretty sick. Both of them have customizable side plates, although we only saw one of them for now. Both of them have G-key macro buttons on the side, multi-platform support for like console or the better option PC. Both of them have DTS and Dolby technologies inside, which are switchable in the driver. The core differences between these two headsets is that the G633 is wired and can mix 2 signals, while the G933 is wireless and can mix from 3 signals. Now this whole mixing business might sound a little weird, but it's not actually that complicated. There's 2 or 3 inputs depending on what headset you get. The G633 has 2, it has USB and 3.5mm. The G933 has 3, USB, 3.5mm, and wireless. And you're able to use all of these inputs at the same time. So you could mix in like your TV and your computer, or say a record player in your computer, or a record player, your computer, and your phone, so you can order pizza without dropping out of your match. It's interesting. I don't know how many people will use it, but I think the people that do use it will appreciate it a lot. Then there's the Logitech gaming software. If you're familiar with modern Logitech products, you probably know what's going on here, but there's G-key macro settings, lighting settings for different modes and whatnot. There's your EQ settings, so you can set all of these things up for game profiles, so right when you load that game, it'll switch into that mode, so your lighting effects can kick in, your G-key macros can kick in, your EQ settings can kick in, and you can have it switch on either DTS or Dolby. So if that game comes with one of those technologies, you can make it load up with that. Or for you guys who don't want any of those technologies running, I'm sure you're definitely out there, you just turn them off. Plain and simple. So that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our tour. Time for the conclusion. The problem here is that it's really difficult to test audio products on the road. I don't have my reference audio, I don't have my reference headphones, and I'm in a foreign environment. For example, they had us test against Sennheiser HD 650s, I believe, which is great. That's a good test. They should have done that. That's awesome. The problem was we were in a room with a whole bunch of people talking, and open headphones on one side and closed headphones on the other. It wasn't a fair comparison. But it's a good comparison nonetheless, just I can't give a proper review while I'm on the road. What I will say, however, is I came into this expecting low-grade gaming headphones, because low-grade and gaming headphones kind of go together, usually. And I was pleasantly surprised in terms of features, comfort, and audio quality. And that's all I'll say for now. Alright everyone, thank you for watching. If you disliked this video, you probably know what to do. But if you liked the video, get subscribed, hit the like button, do all those awesome things, comment, go to Amazon, buy something with our affiliate code, give us a directly contribution through the forum, or buy us a shirt that isn't from Transistor. If you liked this video, click in the top right-hand corner to see another video, actually also from Logitech, the G29 Driving Force Racing Wheel. I'll see you there.